What's up, guys? So I printed something out here that I wanted to talk with you guys about, again, so I could stay on point, and not veer off the subject. But I just kind of wanted to share some things with you guys. And again, if you don't have the time, I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm going to read this, kind of as quickly as I can. But this is just for informational purposes for some of you out there. I know a lot of you don't know me. And it's along the lines of support. And I just wanted to share this with you guys just to kind of give you an idea of where I'm at. This isn't a feel sorry for me situation, nothing like that, but this strictly just to explain some things. Sorry for my dogs. So I'm just going to go ahead and then I've been struggling for quite a bit of years, mainly my whole life. I'll admit I've made mistakes in the past. I was an alcoholic for a bit, but not in a way that you'd think. I wasn't chasing cases of beer that would cost me a bunch of money. I chose drinks that got me drunk fast and became addicted while being broke, often spending money from bills or found change just to get it. My drink of choice were Monacos. There was 2 shots in every can, and after about 4, you can get a buzz or drunk, depending on if you ate something or not. Not only that, they'd sell you 2 cans for about $5 as a deal, versus spending a regular price, which would cost you a little more if you just got a can. So I'd go all day at times with little to eat so I could catch the buzz later, and I couldn't wait to get off of work for it. Or because the food we already had shopped for had to be rationed for planned meals to make it through till the next paycheck. At the time, bills kept piling, and we began having relationship troubles because of how stressed we both were. This is both my current relationship and my previous marriage. We often were going at each other in a blameful manner. It wasn't until later we realized none of us were at fault. We had an environment that just wasn't suitable. The economy was not doing great, and we're both working, but the pay didn't help us still. Eventually, after having our child unplanned, she worked and I took care of our apartment complex, cutting grass and fixing things to help the landlord so we wouldn't get in any trouble with our rent. He was a kind-hearted Christian man. At the time, we weren't following Christ. He helped us immensely, and he saw we were doing all we could. We eventually moved to where we are now with the same financial troubles. I worked, and she stayed home this time. I busted my butt, working hard, making $26.50 an hour, and still trying to recover from debt and trying to adjust my credit because I was never really taught how to deal with anything coming from a low-income childhood on welfare in Chicago. I left Chicago in pursuit of a better life, believing there was more to life than the cycles that continued in my family, which I eventually joined the U.S. Army with the promise of a house and financial gain if I joined for a project. But that's a short story for another time. Fast forward to now, still trying to make the best decisions I can and trying to make ends meet. Pushing through situations doctors advised I shouldn't push through because of the negative effects it has on my future, which can take place unexpectedly at any time. I've mentioned it here before, but in case anyone is new, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and recently added degenerative disc disease. It's a tough thing to deal with for sure, but it's invisible to the naked eye. Unless you have X-ray vision, you can't see what's happening inside of my body. It's been tough to talk about, and in most cases left me to just pretend it doesn't exist because of judgments. You'll get advices you never asked for, like a diet plan you've already been working out, and medical advice that they themselves never researched, or thinking you are exaggerating, and it's just normal aging pain. Being a man on top of it makes it that much more difficult. We aren't allowed to express weakness most of the time because we have a societal obligation. I ended up having to quit my job of $26.50 an hour because, as fate would have it, my body began to breaking down. All I've ever known is physical labor. I love working with my hands. Never been the office type, though I've held office positions in the past, but the pay just didn't work. So I got a new job that I could handle. Last year, I began working for True Green. It began stressful, and I began to feel a bit better, though, physically. However, I'm a dedicated worker. Any employer you speak to in my past would tell you this. I learn fast and I push. I would do whatever you ask, even if I get called a bootlicker, which I have been called. So good at doing the work, responsibility began shifting in my direction after the first 3 months. When I took the position, it came with a pay cut, going from $26.50 at my previous job to just $20 an hour with True Green. But I didn't let it stop me. I just wanted to work. Hey, it's a job, right? The pay went up to $20.28. And responsibility began to grow quick, but no increase. As fate would have it again, my body has started to act up yet again in such a short time, leaving me to wonder, what would I do now? Companies that could train you won't unless you have experience because of the risks to them, understandably, or they rather hire from within for growth opportunities for the other employees. We ended up taking a financial course for Dave Ramsey and cut all kinds of things out of our budget and began knocking out debt wherever I could with taxes during tax season and even cashing in my 401k due to splitting it with my ex-wife while we go through a divorce, which is not currently a financial issue. It's not like your typical divorce. We are both very much doing well and getting along as one big happy family. Both my fiance and my ex they're getting along. The kids are happy. We hang out. We support the kids in their ventures, like my daughter and her sports. There's a lot of that going on, which is great. And I know that doesn't happen often with people. It seemed like everything we tried just kept leading down a dead end. I do music, which is a huge passion of mine. Only it doesn't pay, but that's okay because I love doing it, which helps keep me sane. I can put all my thoughts in there and tell you guys about it in song. My fiance, she bakes, which has helped cut costs and has been healthier, from bread to treats for the week and other things. Also making faith-based bracelets that she was selling, but ultimately struggled to get support, just like my music. To add insult to injury, my ex and I attempted to get this divorce, which we're still currently in, which is going well. And right when we got to the last step, the attorney stopped showing up. He stopped answering calls and messages to both me and her, and stopped answering the court. He just disappeared, leaving us in limbo. No bills or anything that would suggest we did anything wrong. Upon research, it appeared this attorney commonly did this behavior with other clients. So what now? We can't afford another attorney, which I've been suggested by many people. Just get another one. Yeah, if it were that simple. But we can't afford another attorney now. When we got this attorney, we had help from church members who all donated, a little money to build up to what I needed to pay this attorney. And my fiance and I, we want to be married and not live in cohabitation and sin. We're trying to be obedient. So we asked questions on what we can do from the courthouse, only to get told there's not much because there's an attorney involved. So I asked, what if I fire him and represent myself? We have all the documents we need. How can we go from here? And most of our communication with the lawyer was through email, so he'd send me a document. We'd both sign it, scan it, send it back to him. That's how we obtained all the documents, which I know other people have had to go, if they fire an attorney, have to go through this whole battle just to get their documents back. We don't even have to do that right now. Right now, we're still waiting on a response and stuck in limbo. And my church is currently, it's amazing. I love it there. I've learned a ton from my pastors who don't toss you a wishbone to live in sin and sugarcoating. Just what I need to continue to surrender things to Christ. However, respectfully, I can't do anything much as far as joining the worship team or anything because, well, they're right. I'm living in sin with my fiance and still legally married to my ex. Bad representation to our church. At first, I was angry about it, but as time went on, I had to agree with them. With so much influences out there, I don't want to be a reason someone sins because they looked at our situation with a bad lens in comparison and decided, well, if they can, I can too. So right now, as I gathered things off of Marketplace on Facebook or for free, people giving me things too, I began building my studio equipment. A longtime friend of mine asked me to film a music video for him. I didn't know I had it in me to even do that. We aren't done yet, but so far it's been looking really good. He was super proud of what we've done so far. All of this taught me maybe I can help others with their music. I can produce and do filming at a low cost compared to other places. Help the little guys out, the independent artists. So now I've launched and we wait till I receive some work while building promotion and content. As of right now, because of how media platforms pay, I haven't received but a few bucks for my streams on all platforms every month. And every platform pays differently, which can equate to 0.001 cent to 0.005 cents per stream. I'm always open to advice and a hand, but please don't assume I'm like everyone else. You have no idea what people are going through, what's really going on, and whether or not what you hear is true or not, because as we learned when we were kids, information has a way of changing as it's passed on. Some things can be exaggerated or summarized to meet higher negativity or whatever the transfer of the information feels like the narrative should be. We are actively trying to do our best and have not quit. All I ask of you now, that you've heard some of my story, and not all of it, is to not quit on us either. There's no financial link at the end of this or a GoFundMe page. I'm not here to ask for your money. I'm not here to ask for any of it. Just a good old community support. Love you guys, and God bless.